All right, I wanted to give you a couple more pointers, mostly about the essay, but also some of this applies to the last few journals that you have to do. Okay, um, if you are listening to this video, obviously you were able to access it, so kudos to you. All right, so I have 5 points that I want to go over briefly. When you're referring to the authors of the textbook, it is, according to MLA, when there are three or more authors, you write it as Adler et al. There's a period after al, and that is Latin for Adler and the others. There are three authors, so you have to make sure that the verb does not have an S at the end. So it's not, you. If it was one author, you would say something like Adler says, but when you use et al, it becomes Adler et al. Say. Okay, so just make sure you're doing that correctly. People are still having issues citing material, creating the works cited page, and doing the correct format. And so what I wanted to do was to go here. Assignment descriptions and sample assignments. If you go into formatting a journal or an essay, there's so much material. How to format a journal or an essay. If you're using Google Docs, there are a few pointers. If you happen to be citing material that the textbook cited, how to do it. I give you an example of how to do the works cited page, which honestly, you could just copy and paste. And then there's a great site. I am not asking you to use any other material except the textbook. This is not a course that requires you to go out and do any independent research. If you have done that and you're not exactly sure how to cite it, definitely go into use the OWL from Purdue University, because they have a really good an explanation of how you cite correctly, and they also will, if you have all the information, they'll create the citation for you. You might have to listen to a really annoying video, but it's probably worth it. Okay. At this point, in the past, I've been saying, okay, you're making some mistakes. From now on, if you are not citing correctly, or your works cited page is not correct, it's a 0 for that assignment, because I've given plenty of feedback on it. Okay. In your essay, please do not use the term body language. If you look through chapter 7, you will see that absolutely nowhere in the text do they use body language. Most of the time, I think what you're talking about, if you've used that term, it's body movement. Okay, so just be very clear, be as precise as you can be. And, instead of saying nonverbal communication, unless you are making a general statement about it, or instead of using, body language, what specifically are you talking about? Are you talking about posture? Are you talking about distance? Are you talking about clothing? So just be as specific as possible. Pardon me, a little dry throated. I want to make sure in the next draft that you do, which is due. You have over a week. It's due out my neck. Sorry, it's due on July 14th. So, what you're going to do in that draft is you're putting let me go here. You're putting everything together, and sorry. Essay. Okay. Alrighty. Essay directions and timeline. Oh, of course I didn't do it as a. Sorry. Nope. Okay. So step 5, where you are doing the analysis. You're going to define and you're going to analyze the characteristics of nonverbal communication and the functions of nonverbal communication. So when I was giving people feedback on their second draft, I had the wrong page numbers. So let me go back. Sorry, I got a lot of things open. So there are 5 characteristics of nonverbal communication. You do not have to go over all of them. All right. 2 would be good. Okay. And if you have the textbook that actually has page numbers, it's from page 181 to page 186. If you somehow have an online version that does not have page numbers, at least know that it is section 7.2. There are also 6 functions of nonverbal communication, and you want to make sure that you cover probably 2 of them that apply to what you saw in your observation or your experiment. Okay. Just remember, what you are putting together is a rough draft of your essay. And then that's the 14th. So the 15th and the 16th, basically my life belongs to this class. I will give you as much feedback as possible. If you hand it in early, I will give you feedback early. All right. One last point concerning the essay is you don't have to, but when you are doing here, let me change this. Let's see. Yep. Qualify your statements. All right. When you're concluding and you're telling me in a sense what you learned or what you think the big takeaway from this essay is, you want to avoid making large statements. This experiment proves. It probably doesn't, because probably your experiment was too short and dealt with too few people. So you would want to say something like, the results of this experiment or this observation suggest that, okay, so this was something small. You were gathering information, but you really weren't setting out to make any grand predictions, I would say. Consider referring to chapter 5. Remember, chapter 5 was about perception and the idea that just because you saw something, are you 100% sure that when someone in your observation, when someone grimaced, did that mean they were disgusted? Could it have meant something else? So you don't have to reference perception, but that is a possibility. All right. As I always say, if you have any questions, reach out to me. Send me an email, message me in Blackboard, do both. Or if it's something where you need a response quickly, send me a text. Okay. Hope you're having a good evening, and hang in there. We're getting close to the end.